James Harden and Russell Westbrook went off against the Celtics last night. The Houston duo combined for 78 points in an 11-point win over the Celtics. After the game, James Harden said when he and Westbrook get hot, it's, quote, pretty scary. Question I want to get to is, guys, did the Rockets prove anything with a win over the Celtics? We know they're, 2-2 since the trade. The loss to Phoenix, they didn't have Westbrook. Broussard, when I look at this Rockets team, yeah, they're deadly for maybe a round if they get hot. But the Jazz, a couple games ago, gave the blueprint that the Celtics didn't follow. You put your center, Rudy Gobert in that case, on Russell Westbrook and say, hey, Russ, take all the threes you want. And Russ, since the trade, has only attempted 6 3-pointers in 3 games. If you look at the month of December, he averaged 6 a game. So basically, the lane is open now with Capella gone. Westbrook just driving in, getting layups. Celtics could not stop that. But I think the smart teams will be able to shut down the Rockets,
well, first of all, you don't get much smarter than the Celtics.
Yeah, you would think so.
I mean, they're a smart team. And Utah, I don't know how much of a blueprint it was because it took a buzzer-beating shot from Bogdanovich over 2 Rockets to win that game. So I thought the Jazz played well. And Westbrook put up numbers against Utah. So, look, here's what I think, that the Rockets got better with the trade. Now, they still are behind the 2 LA teams, in my view, the Clippers and the Lakers, but I think they're closer to being the 3rd best team in the West now than they were before the trade. Okay, because the fact is they've opened up the lane for the first time in Russell Westbrook's career, and he is killing because of that. He's averaging 38 points a game on 57% shooting since the trade, or in the last 3 games, because the lane is wide open. Even in OKC, it wasn't wide open because you had Steven Adams there. And that has made them less James Harden-centric, which is great. Before, it was James Harden a clear number 1 and Russ a clear number 2. Russ had to kind of get in where he fit in and get yours when you can. Now, it really looks like a partnership. When they double-team James Harden, they make you pay now because he swings it, and Westbrook can go right to the lane. If you collapse on him, he can kick it out. So I think they've improved. Now, you mentioned 2-2 since the trade. They're actually 5-2 since Capella, they played small ball because Capella got hurt with the plantar fasciitis, and they've had to play their last 7 games small ball, okay? They're 5-2 in those games, 4-1 when Westbrook is playing because he sat out 2 games. The teams they've beaten, Dallas, New Orleans.
No Luka, right?
Right, no Luka, but Dallas has played well without Luka. New Orleans, who's, you love New Orleans.
Well, we'll get to them later.
The Lakers, and then, of course, last night's win. So, Boston, they are playing good basketball. Again, I'm not getting ahead of myself and thinking they're better than the Lakers or the Clippers. However, I do think they've got a much better chance of beating Utah, Denver, and being that 3rd team in the West.
I credit Mike D'Antoni, and I think they have gotten better. When you look at a coach and you say, okay, do your job. What is your job? Identify what makes us better as a team. And he's done exactly that. Chris, you hit it on the head. He removed and unclogging the lane, saying my 2 best players are top 15 in free throw attempts. That means they need to get to the rack. They want to get to the rack. James Harden is number 1 in the NBA in getting to the free throw line. So when you say that, as many threes as he shoots, he wants to get you in foul trouble. He wants to get to the lane, get and ones. And Russell Westbrook, we understand that's who he's always been. And so when you look at D'Antoni, you say, man, this is a great move by D'Antoni. Did we get better? Of course. Why? Because we've allowed now our 2 primary best players to be who they are. Not try to alter their game and keep Westbrook on the perimeter and be a spot-up shooter. That's not who he is. That's not who he wants to be, and he does not thrive in that role. Where Russell Westbrook thrives is when you spread the court, you give him shooters, and you let him get to the rack. And you let him take his elbow jump shots that he consistently knocks down, and you let James Harden just be special. I like this, and they don't even have one of their elite scorers in Eric Gordon. He's out, and we don't know how long he's going to be out. So when you get him back, you add another lethal shooter and a guy who can still get to the rack. I like what they've done. They've identified. It doesn't mean that they're going to be up there with the Clippers and the Lakers, but they've identified what makes them a better team, and they're going to run with this. I like it.
I don't like it. And before we give Mike D'Antoni a parade, he's done this before with players. People have excelled under his system. Am I right?
Yes.
He made Steve Nash a Hall of Fame.
Steve Nash won 2 MVPs playing for him. So this is what he does, and I'll give you that. That's fine. But when it comes down to...
I'll take those 2 MVPs.
Okay, you can take it. I bet you if you ask Steve Nash, would he rather have a championship, one championship, he'd probably give up both of them.
Maybe.
He'd probably give up both of them.
He's going down in...
But my only problem is we've seen this movie before, and they're no closer to... You guys have both acknowledged they're no closer to doing what they what they want to do, which is win a championship, okay? So you can win all the regular season games, you can score all the points. I'm not knocking it. I just don't know if you're any closer that when you get to the most important games in the postseason, is this going to work against the Clippers and against the Lakers? That's what if I'm a GM, what am I trying to do? I'm trying to win a championship, and I'm trying to how do I get closer to those two guys, not beating Denver and not beating Portland and not beating those teams. And Utah, that's nice in the second round, but I'm there, and I can't beat the Clippers, and I can't beat the Lakers playing that
and
ball.
Rob, you know historically what has happened to James Harden in the postseason.
Yes.
He's melted down. That's what he does. Spurs.
Well, he was
Look
big.
at the series 2 years ago against the Warriors. Shot 41% and 26 in threes 2 years ago.
And you remember
Last
when
year he fought with his teammate Chris Paul. And
but you remember when they lost, they missed 27 threes in a row.
Like, what about
that's how they win.
Let's not forget about last year. The last 3 years, Russell Westbrook hasn't gotten out of the first round. I'm telling you, this will look good for a couple games, but wait for this, Rob Parker. Guess who's averaging 28 shots since the trade? Russell Westbrook. James Harden, only 17. How is James Harden going to handle? Wait a minute, this is Russ's team now? He's getting all the shots? He's getting the shots? I can't wait for it. This is going to be an epic meltdown when the Rockets start feuding in the locker room.
That average is based on him taking 10 shots against the Lakers. The last few games, Harden's gotten back to being
It's a small
himself.
sample size.
Yeah, I mean, he's getting his shots. They've been double-teaming him, too, and he is a good passer.
Give up the ball, right.
They're not going to feud. If they were going to feud, it would have been early in the season when Westbrook's like, I'm a step shooter?
Right.
This is really what it's about? But they've known each other since they were kids, so they're good friends. They're not going to feud. And now, like I said, it's more of a comfort level. Now Russ is like, this is as much my offense as it is Harden's.
I agree with that part, Chris.
So I don't, look, but Rob is right. In a macro sense, no. 2 years ago, even last year, you were closer to winning the championship than you are now. But what they could do at the deadline to get better, that's what Greg and I are saying. All they could do is what they can do now. I don't think they should have gave up Chris for Russ, even though Russ is a better player probably.
But you're talking about fit-wise,
but just fit-wise, yeah. So they decided to go small. I think it makes them a little better. I think it does give them more of a puncher's chance against the Lakers.
Against the Lakers.
Right.
And that, for me, is where I feel like they got better. Because the Clippers, I don't think you pull that card, you're not going to beat the Clippers. Because they can go small with you, and they can still be bigger and out-physical you, and pretty much beat you up on the perimeter. Where the Lakers, you can go small and stretch them out and then possibly have that shooter's chance, puncher's chance, however you want to look at it, and beat them because they tend to not go and use their size.
So if it was a second-round matchup and it's Houston and the Lakers, would you would think that the Lakers could lose that?
There's a potential that they could.
You still would pick the Lakers.
I think you pick Lakers, but they could make it a tough 6 or maybe 7.
They could. And it has a lot to do with the fact that when you look at the Clippers, or I'm sorry, you look at the Rockets, like they have defenders too. You got Robert Covington who can stretch the floor
he's been great.
and he can shoot, but he can also defend, a big wing. Like you have guys that can play both ways and get production on both ends of the court, specifically defensively. PJ Tucker, who again, a very physical guy who can wear down guys like LeBron James in the postseason, give them big minutes and switch off. I don't like them against the Lakers, but I like their chances better against the Lakers and the Clippers.
You said P.J. Tucker. He's 34 years old. He's 6'5", and he's playing center. He's playing the most minutes per game in his entire career.
You tell that
You're telling me P.J. Tucker
You tell
can
that to
handle
P.J.
Anthony
Tucker
Davis?
in his heart.
You think can he handle Anthony Davis in the post?
I'm not saying he can in the post. No,
Okay,
absolutely
But AD
not.
don't live in the post.
Thank you.
He will in
He
that
visits.
series?
He visits
Oh,
occasionally.
That's what
He
we
lives
would
on a perimeter.
Wait, so
He visits
Anthony
sometimes.
Davis, wait, just to be clear,
I'm
Anthony
just saying,
Davis,
I want him to live in the post, or
Right.
at least be more of a resident
so
than he is at
Anthony
this
Davis
point.
could be a problem for the Clippers, right? That's what we've saying because of the size.
Well, depending on where he's playing.
Hold on, J-Mac, don't take Greg or any of us out of context. We would pick the Lakers.
No, what I'm
We're
saying
just
is I
saying
think
that
the
it
Rockets
hurts
match
your
up
chance.
better with the Clippers because there's no major threat inside to score on them at will the way Anthony Davis would. I think they match up better with the Clippers because they can hang with them on the wings.
No, they can't. I don't think they can hang with the Clippers on the wings because the Clippers defender, they, as Greg said, they can go small, but they'll be a little bigger than you.
Yes.
And
And
they're
physical.
physical.